Hello and welcome. My name is Gene, and today we're going to move ourselves through a little bit of some standing shapes in the body, a little bit of mat awareness going back and forth between the space of the mat itself, and finally culminating in a particular posture known as your malasana, your garland pose, mostly about some hip opening, some ankle strengthening, to give you a sense of that physical direction we're going today. For now though, starting at the back of your mat, feet planted, heart facing forward. That way you allow an inhale through the nose to go into your space, and then an exhale through the nose, sigh or yawn through the mouth. As the world passes by, every sensation around begins to give way to what you are feeling within the ecosystem that is your own body. From a postural standpoint, as mentioned, your malasana, your garland pose, is a foot strengthening, an ankle strengthening, and a hip opening posture. It is connected to both your root chakra and sacral chakra, your Muladhara and Svadhisthana. So, from an intentional standpoint, anything about grounding yourself, trusting where you're planting, and even an intention of cultivating strength in that grounding can be wonderful ideas to take for your practice today. But we will start ourselves off just with a little bit of movement so that we get some heat in the system, all just as preparation for that garland pose. For now though, take another 5 breaths, whether you're moving, whether you're being still. You might hear little strings of music in the background, as the music is meant to be a quiet support for the music of your breath to take center stage. As in the end, music is just another element that gradually fades into the background. You're focusing in on what the body is communicating to you, what is being internalized from every shape and every breath that you allow into your system. So, starting yourself off, we're just going to warm up the feet, given that the feet are an integral part of your garland pose. So, taking a couple breaths, you're going to start rocking back and forth, inhaling so that your heels shift back, toes wiggle off the mat, and exhale, raising the heels as you shift forward onto the toes. Inhale, heels down, wiggle the toes up. And then exhale, shift forward, heels rise, maybe a little higher the second time. So just pulsing through these raises in your heels, getting into your calves a bit, your hamstrings, as you go back and forth on your mat. Now at any time, you are welcome to hold the balance. Might get a more prolonged and consistent stretch through the legs, especially the higher you go. And if you find yourself wobbling a little bit, you can think of pressing into your internal hip rotators, lifting up through your core, like your abdomen is reaching up to the diaphragm, to the chest, hands where you need them to. Take just another 5 more breaths here for you. Next inhale, heels find their way back down to your mat. And then on the exhale, just taking a little bend in the knees so that you hollow the ribs and come to your forward fold, your Uttanasana. Now just dangling here for a few breaths. Mostly a bit of a counter movement so that your feet get some planting on the ground. Whether your hands meet the earth or whether you grab your elbows and sway side to side a few times. Back of the neck is nice and relaxed, just so that you get a good stretch from the base of your neck all the way up to the crown of your head. Take 2 more breaths here. Now reaching down with your feet to your mat, you're going to breathe in, lengthen the legs so that the spine comes up halfway. And then exhale, bend at the knees nice and soft. That way your heart melts back to the front, forward fold. Take another breath in to bend the knees, press into the feet to raise the spine up. Arms can always sweep up to the sky if that feels good. But it's all meeting yourself back in your mountain pose, your starting shape today. Just to shake the body out a little bit, drink some water preemptively if you need it. So that when you've gathered up all of those little introductory feelings and things, take ourselves back to mountain pose. Feet rooted down, heart facing forward. We'll move ourselves through a couple of sun salutations. The first one will be a little guided and have a few extra shapes, so not quite a traditional salutation, but just to get some of the movements going in the body. Second salutation A of the sun will be a little more traditional, more breath to movement, holding shapes like downward facing dog and all that jazz. And it will all be as a way of preparing your body for your featured asana today, your garland pose. For now though, feet planted, heart facing forward, take 2 breaths here. As indeed, that forward-facing heart is a reminder of the intention in your body that you're setting today, one of strength, one of grounding, and indeed an element of resolve. Resolve to meet what's coming along your way with that strength that you carry every single day. So, breathing in. Arms are reaching up to the sky however you wish. So that on an exhale, the hands release. The heart hinges forward. Nice, low, free fall, Uttanasana. From your forward fold, inhale, press into the feet to raise the spine halfway. And then on the exhale, before coming down, you're going to soften in the heart again, melting into another forward fold. Inhale, left hand reaches down toward the ground, doesn't have to touch. And exhale, right arm opens to the right side, Uttanasana twist. Right arm can bind behind your back, if that feels good too. So we'll take just 3 breaths in your twist today. Nice job. Inhale, right hand reaches down to meet the left. Maybe the hands clap when they come together. And then exhale, right hand on the ground, left arm opens out to that left side. Uttanasana twist. 3 breaths here. And all the while reaching down with your feet so that even if the hands don't want to touch the ground, You still got your feet planted where you need them, where you trust them to be. So that now you're breathing in, left hand comes down to meet the right. Hands can clap again if you want. And then exhale, bend the knees, hands to the ground. Walk yourself out to a plank. That way, elbows bend, abs engaged, meeting the mat. Taking a breath in, you're pressing into the palms. The chest peels off the ground in a back bend. And then on the exhale, press into the hands again, widening your knees to the outer edges of your mat. Walk the hands back to your hip space. Balasana, child's pose, also known as your Urdhva Mukha Virasana, your upward facing to downward facing hero, Adho Mukha Virasana. So just breathing here for a few moments. Nice place to come back to your intention, again, your focus. What is something that brings strength to you? What do you define as strength in your body? Is it that resolve that you meet whatever is on your way with? Breathe. Nice job. Take 3 more breaths here for you. Nice work. Taking that next breath in, the hands walk back to your center line, peeling yourself off the earth, and then shifting forward, palms on the ground. You're gonna exhale, knees slide in under your hips to tabletop. Breathing in here, abdomen peels to the ground, tailbone and crown reach up for some spinal flosses. And then exhale, hollowing your heart center to curve the spine like your chin and tailbone are saying hello. Inhale again, peeling the front body, giving yourself that wide expansion. And then exhale, abdomens retract inward as you curve the spine again, giving the ribs a hug. Take another 5 more flossing movements at your own pace. And somewhere in the range of 2 to 3 more, noticing how your breath is guiding you, almost by the hand, as you move between those places, following the cadence of how you breathe in and out. Nice job. Taking another inhale, the spine neutralizes its center as the toes curl on the mat behind you. And then exhale, walk the hands to your knees, making sure your pinky toes are especially planted as you sit back on your toes. Now, if this toe stretch feels a little polarizing today, you're always welcome to take a block with you and set the block underneath your tailbone. Can give you a little extra leverage. And can certainly be an extra element of grounding that your body can connect to. All the while, abdomen is nice and lifted up to the chest. The further you sit back on the toes, the more into your hip flexors, the fronts of your quadriceps, you'll find yourself activating. And the deeper into your plantar fascia, the soles of your feet, you'll find yourself arriving in. We'll take just another 4 more breaths here. I almost said 42. That would be a whole lot longer than intended, to say the least. But at least it's letting your brain think of other things besides what your feet are probably telling you, passing the time a little better. Or maybe toe stretch just feels nice, and you're showing gratitude to your feet for all of the times you have to put them in shoes that don't feel the most comfortable. One more breath for good measure. Nice job. Taking an inhale, hands come back on the mat. Walk yourself out to another tabletop so that you uncurl the toes and tap the tops of your feet gently on the mat. Give yourself a little relief. Now keeping the toes uncurled. When you feel like you've tapped the feet enough, take a breath in. Block can stay where it is as we're just gonna walk the hands back toward the ankles. And then exhale. Once you walk back, now you're sitting on your ankles instead of your toes. This is your ankle stretch, the counter posture. So, block could feel good. Block could get in the way. You could set it aside. If you've taken any other classes of mine, whether in person or virtually, you probably hear this referred to as your Vajrasana or your Thunderbolt pose. Another great place for the hip flexors to get some activation. And as you feel your sit bones reach down to your heels, that might cause the knees to come off the ground a bit. Your hands can come down, fingers pointing toward your body as you lift the knees a little higher. The further back you go, the more into your ankles you'll be finding sensation. So, measuring the level you want to reach for yourself today. Take another 6 breaths here in silence, just for your thoughts to be. Last breath. So that if your knees are lifted, this is your moment to return them back down to your mat. Taking another breath in, the hands prowl back to your tabletop, shoulders on top of wrists. And then exhale, tap the feet on the mat behind you, just giving yourself some more relief. So, taking that journey back up to the feet, you're going to take a breath in, look underneath you just to the point between your knees, so that on an exhale, toes curl on the mat again. You're walking your hands to your knees and pressing into the palms so that the legs straighten into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, spine and neck and tailbone all linked together. And exhale, knees bend, heart to legs, just in another forward fold. One more breath in, the knees bend. Tailbone under spine, arms reach up. So that on an exhale, press into the forearms, just returning back to your Tadasana, your mountain pose, after that extended salutation template. Nice job. Shake it out. Drink some water. Great place to check in. How are you feeling? How are your feet feeling? Your toes, your ankles. I find even doing a couple of quick foot flicks. There's your alliteration and tongue twister stuff for today. But those foot flicks can certainly help bring a little life into the toes, especially those spaces in between. All right, so I think we're good to take our sun salutation and then move into your featured posture just to round out your practice today. Before that though, come back to the back of your mat in a Tadasana. We're going to move the body through space just to get to the front of your mat. But before you do, come back to your intention. What is that purpose that brought you to your mat today? No matter what time of day this practice might have arrived into your space, I for one am grateful that you chose to spend a part of your day just moving your body in those safe and gentle ways. When you have your intention set in your mind, you're just going to start walking to the top of your mat, taking your time. Maybe you're moving with breath to step. Maybe you're just moving forward without a particular rhyme or reason. But when you arrive at your top of the mat, inhale, arms come up to the sun, Surya Namaskar A. Exhale, arms release, heart hinges forward with the hips, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, tailbone reaching back behind you. And then exhale, knees bend, hands to mat, step, hop or float your feet behind you to plank, elbows bend through a Chaturanga Dandasana. Breathing in, press into the palms for your Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, your upward facing dog. And then curled toes on the mat to exhale, send the hips skyward, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. 5 breaths here. We will use your downward dog to move you gradually into your featured pose today. So heels are reaching down to the ground. Your thumbs and your index fingers are making L shapes on your mat to really firmament your planting. Solidify that base for 2 more breaths. Next, inhale, looking up where the thumbs converge. And then exhale, step, hop, float, or tabletop your feet to your hands. Forward fold. Nice job. Breathing in, spine rises halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, knees bend, heart to legs, and another forward fold. 1 more big breath in, knees bend, spine rolls up, arms reach up. And then exhale, you're going to heel toe your feet to the outer edges of your mat, turning the feet out with the heels on the ground. Now before you completely bend the knees down into your Malasana, nice time to take that other block by the top of your mat, or to grab the second block if it's not too far away. You can then set the block underneath, almost like you're using the block to sit. But we'll take a breath in here when you've gathered that block and got the feet turned out. Hands are heart center. And then exhale, knees bend, as you sit yourself down into Malasana Garland pose. So, I have my elbows set against my inner thighs, just as a place of bracing. The block, much like your Thunderbolt pose, as well as your toe stretch, could feel good. The block could get in the way. And maybe you just prefer sitting toward the ground. But we'll linger here for just a few breaths. Feel all 10 toes on the mat or the ground. Feel the heels of your feet digging down to the earth. Here's that place of strength. Reside here in your mind, and I'll let you know when it's time to move. Doing so good, halfway there. Take another 3 more breaths. Nice deep inhale. And an equally nice deep exhale. Using the breath out to release any holding and lifting and sink down into your garland. Another big breath in. And another one out. Last one. Wonderful work. Breathing in, hands come down to the ground just with the palms to help plant you down. And pressing into the palms, exhale very, very gently, straighten the legs. Coming into a wide-legged fold, your prasarita here. Next inhale, we'll raise the spine halfway again. And then exhale, bend the knees, hands to the ground, just dropping into a tabletop nice and gently. From here, you're choosing a hip left or right to sit on so that the legs swing either to the front of your mat or to the back of your mat, because it's all just to make some space and come all the way down to your spine. So a little more of a standing practice today, just to give yourself some spatial leveling and awareness and all of that fun stuff. Cultivating a little heat in your body as we're just going to take a couple minutes and allow the legs to process, allow the feet to absorb. What are you feeling? How are you feeling? Those are always valid questions to approach this brief meditation that is your Savasana. So remember your breath, honor your heartbeat, leave behind any tension, any stiffness, any discomfort, at least for a few moments that you might have felt today. And of perpetual import, thank yourself wholeheartedly, as much as I thank you for all that you do on and off of your mat. You carry so much strength and resolve in your heart, and it all starts with how you move yourself through your day, through your world, interacting with everything around you. May you always move with strength. May you always move with certainty of self. Enjoy your Savasana. I'll bring you back shortly. starting to bring some awareness back to your body. Holding what's in your mind from your meditations as you breathe in through the nose, consciously drawing air into your lungs, full of life, full of strength, full of possibility, nascent and new to you. And then breathe out through the nose, take a sigh or yawn through the mouth as you exhale, bringing that life to bear and sending it throughout your body, recharging, refueling, resustaining those places in you that wanted a little extra bolstering, a little extra reminding that you are strong, you are a creature of strength, and can carry anything that you choose to. In time, the fingertips and toes begin to wiggle, just as the wrists and ankles begin to circle. In time, the neck tips side to side, just as in time you make any movements that honor and strengthen your body's return to your mat, your tether to this corporeal plane. Because ultimately, you can choose to end your practice in your conjured savasana, the shape that you wanted a moment to rest and meditate in. You're also welcome to meet me in a seat, joining me anywhere on your mat that feels conducive to your space's finality. That moment that seals your practice in a way that resonates through the arms, legs, and eyes, and every atom of your being. As we come back to your intention today, your heartfelt sankalpa, it's an opportunity to absorb and observe the body, what we carry, what we hold on to, what we let go, and what we put down. To be a creature of strength is to move through all of those ideas authentically, safely, and gently, so that when we are rooted in a place, we trust the planting process, the rooting, and know very well we bloom how we need to. And with that, it has been my humble happy honor to have shared the space with you today as you shared it with me. May you always live your life in your authentic way, bringing your shine and radiance to this beautiful planet we share. The luminosity in me cherishes, respects, and will always celebrate the luminous blooming heart in you. May you always know your strength. Shanti. Namaste. I humbly thank you for taking time for yourself, no matter what day, week, month, moon, phase, or any season of life that this practice might find its way to you. I hope that you enjoy whatever it is that this day and this planet brings your way. And until we meet each other on our mats again, namaste.